Ahoy there, fellow captains. Strap in, because today we're diving into the shadow underworld, the super destroyers. You know, those ships everyone complains about when they're getting torpedoed from the next galaxy, but then completely forgets exist when they're not being absolutely broken? Now, we've all heard the endless debates about super battleships and super cruisers, but what about their sneaky little cousins? And here's the funny part. There's only 5 of them in the entire game. That's right, but today we're doing what no one has ever dared to do before. We're ranking all of them. Our contenders are Yamagiri, Japan; Humphreys, USA; Dalarna, Europe; Zorkiy, Russia; Kunming. So grab your copium, prepare your rage comments, and let's settle this once and for all. Alright, let's talk about the torpedo spammer that gives battleship mains nightmares, the Yamagiri. This thing is basically the ninja of super destroyers, sneaking around and dropping enough torpedoes to recreate the entire Pacific War single-handedly. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, it has 18 torpedoes, not 6, not 8, not even 12, 18. And not just any torpedoes, but 2 different flavors of pain. Your standard 12 km fish and the ridiculous 20 km F3 torps with reload booster. That's right, while other DDs are carefully managing their torpedo reloads, Yamagiri is out here playing battleship with entire flanks. You could literally miss your first 2 salvos and still have enough torps left to make a Shimakaze player jealous. But here's where things get funny. The guns. Oh boy, the guns. Yamagiri's artillery is basically there just to remind you that technically this is still a destroyer and not a submarine. The DPM is so bad you'd think they were firing potatoes instead of shells. The turret traverse is slower than a battleship's, and the firing angles make you wonder if the designers forgot this thing was supposed to have guns at all, because those pea shooters aren't saving you from anything more dangerous than a lifebuoy. Now, the stealth, this is where Yamagiri shine. With concealment that can dip below 6k, you can get dangerously close before unleashing your torpedo hell. It's like playing hide and seek where you're invisible and everyone else is wearing neon sign. Just remember, the moment you fire those popgun artillery pieces, every ship within 20k will suddenly remember you exist and focus you down harder. Speed and maneuverability, pretty decent for a ship of its size. But let's be real, you're not picking Yamagiri to juke shells like a French DD. You're picking it to sit in your little smoke cloud, that is, and watch as entire flanks panic, dodge your torpedo spreads. Armor? What armor? This thing is made of paper mache and dreams. A stiff breeze from a cruiser's secondary guns can citadel you. And don't even get me started on what happens when a CD decides you're today's target practice. That's the price you pay for being a stealthy torpedo machine. Consumables are where things get interesting. You get the standard smoke for when you absolutely need to hide from that one Missouri that's decided to ruin your day. So why is this monster only A tier / demigod? Simple, it's a one-trick pony. An absolutely devastating, game-changing trick, but still just one trick. The moment you're forced into a gunfight or spotted by a CV, you might as well start planning your respawn. And let's be honest, in today's CV-infested meta, that happens more often than we'd like. Final verdict, Yamagiri is the ultimate torpedo meme machine, perfect for when you want to ruin a battleship player's day while simultaneously reminding everyone why they hate stealth torpedo boats. Just don't expect to win any gunfight, unless your opponent is AFK or legally blind. Ah yes, time for the mighty US Navy to show off their super destroyer game, or so we thought. You see, after giving us the absolute unit that is the super battleship Maine, literally built like a floating fortress, and the Gigachad cruiser Jacksonville with its lasers and radar, we were kind of expecting something spicy from the US in the destroyer department too. But instead, they rolled out the Humphreys, and let's just say expectations met reality and reality was asleep at the wheel. Like seriously, who designed this ship? It feels like someone just clicked random in the shipbuilder and hit publish. First off, let's talk about those guns. You got 127mm pop guns that fire like they're still in beta. Sure, the reload's not awful and it can farm some damage if left ignored, but that's the thing. Who's ignoring a massive American Super DD sailing around with a glowing shoot me sign on it? Now let's talk torpedo. They're fine, just fine. Nothing crazy, not bad, but also not good enough to carry the ship. They've got okay range, okay damage, and okay reload, which means in Worlds of Warships language, irrelevant unless you're in the right spot at the right time, and spoiler alert, you usually aren't. Consumables? Well, this is where it could have redeemed itself. It's got a cool concept. It gets the burst fire mode, so you can dump shells faster for a little bit, but it feels more like a panic button than a power play. Speed boost? Check. Heal? Yeah, okay, it has one, but not a British-style super heal. Smoke? Radar? Nope and nope. This ship didn't get the American buffet of utility, it got the sad lunch tray and the stealthist mid. It doesn't help that she's built like a bigger gearing on steroids. Still visible from space if you're not careful. You can't contest caps early, you can't really knife fight reliably, and you're not fast enough to relocate like Dalarna or Yamagiri. So yeah, this one's going straight into the C tier. Utter useless. If Maine is the Chad of super battleships, Humphreys is the awkward cousin who shows up to the fight with Crocs on and a Nerf gun. It tries, bless its heart, but in a world of giga destroyers, L. Humphreys is barely passing the tutorial. Alright, now let's talk about my absolute favorite super destroyer in the game right now, Dalarna. This thing isn't just a destroyer, it's a full-on guided missile system disguised as a boat. Forget the gimmicks, Dalarna is built for sweaty, high-stakes gameplay, and it delivers. The European tech tree might not get the same love as the US or Japan, but this is the Giga Sweat pick, the silent assassin, the apex predator of DDs. First off, sap shells. Oh yeah, you heard that right. It doesn't bother with silly HE spam or appy roulette. No, Dalarna brings the European brand of shut up and die with sap pap that melts cruisers and absolutely annihilates enemy DDs. You get 4 120 dot guns, firing every 1.7 seconds, with 2 to 200 SAP alpha per shell. Against destroyers, it's a delete button. Against broadside-like cruisers, they evaporate like your hopes of surviving a Dalarna ambush. Now the torpedoes, chef's kiss. You get 2 triple launchers, each packing Euro-style fast, hard-hitting torps. They hit for 10,700 damage a pop, reload in just 65 seconds, and travel at 86 knots. If you blink, you'll miss them, and then you're in the post-battle results screen wondering what happened. This isn't maybe they'll hit, this is how many am I legally allowed to throw at you before the Geneva Convention kicks in. Speed? This ship moves. Base top speed is 43.5 knots, and with the speed boost on, you're touching 52. It's basically a dragster on water. Pair that with the Dalarna's solid concealment of 6.2 km, and you've got a ship that picks when and where it wants to fight, not the other way around. You don't get caught out unless you want to be caught. The only real weakness is the AA. It's meh, but come on. What destroyer is supposed to shoot down planes anyway? You're not here to be a floating flak turret. You're here to delete destroyers, ruin cruisers, and make battleships extremely uncomfortable. So yeah, Dalarna, S tier. Godlike. No, you want performance, flexibility, pressure, and hard carry potential? This is it. This is what peak destroyer performance looks like. Now let's talk about Kunming, the Pan-Asian super destroyer that's basically a high-speed torpedo dealership with a weird business model. Like, imagine showing up to battle and saying, hey, I've got these incredible Deepwater torpedoes, but they won't hit destroyers. Yeah, it's like buying a laser-guided missile that says, sorry, no small fries. That right there is both the charm and the curse of Kunming. She's got sauce, just not for everyone. Deepwater torps are her entire identity. These things hit like underwater freight trains. 17,933 damage per fish, with 13.5k range, and they travel at a swift 67 knots. That means if you're in a battleship or heavy cruiser and you get hit by one of these, there's no crying. You had all the time in the world, and you still chose pain. At the moment you try to torp an enemy DD or light cruiser, nope. Your torps just pass right under like, good morning sir, lovely undercarriage today. The guns though, not bad. 630 mm guns with a 4.2 second reload, and the HE shells do 100 and 900 damage each. That's decent for setting fires or annoying lighter ship, but let's be honest, no one's playing Kunming for the pew pew. The guns are backup dancers. The torps are the headline act. Speed-wise, she's quick on her feet, or props rather. Base speed is 39.5 knots, and with the speed boost, you're flying around at 46 plus knots. Perfect for sneaking into position or bailing when things get too spicy. And with a concealment of 6.5k km, she can spot other ships before getting spotted herself. Ideal for torp ambushes and recon plays. It's not daring levels of stealth, but it's clean and gets the job done. Defensively though, she's made of paper and dreams. The armor is non-existent, so you better pray your LWES hacks are top tier, because if you get radared in the wrong spot, you'll be back in port before your engine boost runs out. No repair party either. So once you take damage, it's permanent, and if CVs show up, just throw your monitor out the window and walk away. Your AA is basically decorative, like those tiny umbrellas in cocktails. She does come with hydroacoustic search, but only 3.5 chem ship detection and 3.5 chem torp detection. Useful, but not game-changing. She's also got that classic Pan-Asian smoke, short duration, long cooldown. Better for disengaging than sitting in and farming damage. So where does that leave her? B tier. Good enough. She can absolutely ruin battleships and cruisers with her torps, and her stealth and speed make her slippery, but the fact that she just ignores enemy destroyers, which are like 70% of your problems in ADD, that's rough. You're always one radar and one clever DD away from watching the battle as a spectator. Kunming's got flavor, no doubt. It's just a little too situational to be S tier. But when it works, oh, it works hard. Just pray you're not in a DD brawl, or you're about to be doing damage control emotionally. Let's be real. If there's one thing the Russians know how to do in World of Warships, it's building giga-chad ships that hit harder than your weekly existential crisis. And Zorkiy? Yeah, she fits that mold pretty well. The Russian super destroyer is an absolute gunboat menace, practically allergic to torpedoes, and she shows up to every match like she's about to deliver justice with 130 mil-sized knuckles. But there's a catch. There's always a catch. First up, the guns. Zorkiy's got 8 of those 130mm Soviet classic railguns, and they're no joke. They reload in just 2.5 seconds. Yes, you heard me right. 2.5 seconds, which means you're basically throwing a BBQ every second for enemy DDs and light cruisers. And with Soviet shell ballistics, those shells fly flatter than the jokes in a tier 5 match. That AP is spicy too, don't sleep on it. If an enemy cruiser gives you broadside, you're chunking them like it's a clearance sale. Now, let's talk speed. This girl zooms. We're talking 43 knots stock, and with speed boost active, you're pushing nearly 50 knots. If you see a Zorkiy coming at you, you better start praying or paddling. It's basically a guided missile with a captain. She's not super stealthy though. Her surface concealment sits around 7.7 Ks, which means she's gonna get spotted before the other sneaky DDs, especially the European and Pan-Asian ones. So you gotta play her like a gunboat, not a sneaky torpedo gremlin. Torpedoes? Yeah, she got them. Kinda. 10K range, 15,000, 100 damage per hit, 60 knot speed. They're like the sidekick in an action movie. They help out sometimes, but you're not here for them. You're here to brawl, and torps are there to scare battleships and maybe catch a potato cruiser making bad life decisions. The consumables. This is where the Soviet spice kicks in. She's got engine boost, repair party, and defensive AA, which is surprisingly solid. And guess what? She doesn't get smoked, because why hide when you're this aggressive? Zorkiy shows up with her whole chest out. Spot me, I dare you. Armor-wise, she's a DD. So yeah, don't expect miracles. But the repair party gives her that second wind that can catch enemies off guard. You thought you killed her? Nah, she's back with another 5k HP and a magazine full of regrets for you. But even with all that, I've gotta give Zorkiy an A-tier demigod status. She's powerful, fast, deadly in the right hands, and has that Soviet swagger we all secretly love. But she's not quite S-tier. Why? She's not flexible enough. No smoke, no amazing torps, and if WG ever throws her a buff, maybe stealth or better torps, then yes, she's knocking on the gates of godhood. Until then, Zorkiy is that scary boss fight just before the final level. Dangerous, brutal, but not quite a final boss. And there you have it, Captain, the full, unfiltered, slightly roasted Super Destroyer tier list. Straight from the salt mines of matchmaking, we laughed, we cried, we torpedoed battleships. Some of these Super DDs are godlike monsters. Dalarna, looking at you, you beautiful sap-spamming torpedo-dodging machine. And some of them, well, they exist. Kunming's out here ignoring other DDs like they're spam emails, and Humphreys is just hoping someone notices it's on the map. Whether you agree, disagree, or already wrote a strongly worded forum post about it, this list is based on experience, chaos, and a little bit of regret. And remember, Deepwater torps don't care about feelings. Have a good one, legends.